I'm Teresa Woodard, and these are your headlines from North Texas. We are now 1 week away from Frisco Centennial student Carmelo Anthony going on trial. He is accused of killing another student at a track meet in Frisco, and that victim, Austin Metcalf, was honored on what would have been his graduation day. Here's Jobin Puniker.
Giada Lopez.
Assad Mahida.
When Memorial High School held its graduation ceremony on Thursday, it came with a special moment.
Hunter Metcalf.
Not everyone who graduated was there to walk the stage and pick up their diploma. In April of 2025, Austin Metcalf, a junior, was stabbed and killed at a track meet. Another student, Carmelo Anthony, was charged with murder. Which brings us back to the ceremony. Austin would be walking this stage with his twin brother, Hunter. Instead, Hunter is also walking for him. He receives his diploma, gets his recognition,
Hunter Metcalf.
and then walks down the steps, comes right back around to receive his brother's diploma.
Hunter Metcalf will accept the posthumous diploma in honor of his brother, Austin Metcalf.
A moment that received a standing ovation that lasted 30 seconds. The Metcalf family is under a gag order and cannot speak with media. Otherwise, they would for this moment. The murder trial is fast approaching, and Austin's name will be said many times in the next month, but perhaps not in the way it was read here.
Austin Metcalf.
In Frisco, I'm Jobin Puniker.
Dallas police are sharing video of officers using a drone to help a man get off Interstate 45. The man in yellow is seen walking toward oncoming traffic during rush hour. This is the view from a Dallas Police Department drone. It allowed the operator to keep track of him and then tell officers on the ground exactly where he was. Eventually, police were able to get him off of the freeway, and everyone is now okay. A new mural is on display outside a coffee shop in Dallas. It honors two people who were killed at an ICE detention facility last year. Norlan Guzman and Miguel Angel Garcia were detainees. They were shot and killed by a man who opened fire on the building and on a transport van in September.
We are here to help each other, lift each other up. And I feel like this message, having this mural here, lets everybody know that we're not alone, that we're here for each other.
Organizers say this mural is both a celebration of life and a call for justice and accountability. Carry the Load is continuing its effort to honor the true meaning of Memorial Day. This annual event was at Reverchon Park in Dallas again this year. It began 16 years ago by Stephen Hawley and Clint Bruce, two Navy SEALs from Dallas who wanted to truly honor the military members and first responders who have given the ultimate sacrifice. They have raised more than $50 million for veteran service organizations.
It's not about us as the ongoing service members that are still here. It's about making sure that those loved ones that we lost, that their memory is told, and you'll be in good company. There'll be countless individuals that are willing to share the story of their friends, their brothers, their sisters, and that it's going to be a good time.
WFAA is a proud sponsor of Carry the Load. We are only weeks away now from the start of the World Cup. 9 matches will be played up here in North Texas, and some very lucky elementary school students will help welcome the best soccer players in the world onto the field. Richard Solomon talks to some young kids from Pleasant Grove who are now preparing for a very big moment.
This isn't just a game for these two.
I love the game because I've been playing it since I was 3 years old.
For Benjamin Torres and Renato Garcia Jr., soccer is an escape. The two 11-year-olds play for clubs and schools in Pleasant Grove. But what they're practicing for now will be seen all across the world on the biggest stage.
Yeah, I was kind of upset that I had to keep it a secret for a little while.
But now that secret is out, and these two, along with 36 other students here in Pleasant Grove, will escort players onto the field for 4 World Cup matches.
That's going to be you right there. France is just insane.
The students were picked from 8 elementary schools in the area.
Mbappe. This opportunity is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for in the whole world, there's like 1 billion kids that really don't get to do this.
But what Steve Davis is excited about most
Look at that.
is what this means for his community.
I think it's just important that this community gets seen.
Davis is the director of the nonprofit Pleasant Grove Soccer and Sport. He says the students were picked from soccer clinics, students that were participating, showing sportsmanship and dedication to the clinic's nutrition and wellness programs.
What kind of bread? What kind of grains? I had the opportunities. I've been to 5 World Cups. To see these kids get this opportunity in this community that doesn't really get seen a lot by Dallas, it means everything.
It's really cool to watch this.
They won't forget
Because
this
we're going to be able to do this.
and never forget how much this game has brought them already.
Messi. It'll be like a dream come true.
In Pleasant Grove, I'm Richard Solomon.
It is the start of summer vacation season, and Fort Worth-based American Airlines was expecting to serve more than 4 million customers Memorial Day weekend. It's only going to ramp up in the weeks to come as we get closer to the FIFA World Cup. And as Cole Sullivan reports, more than soccer fans are flocking to DFW Airport.
Here, everything moves. Takeoff after touchdown. The only way to freeze it all is with a photo.
My husband's like, do you ever have enough? I was like, no.
Claudia Sayers keeps taking stills of a world that never stops. And the summer travel season just makes it go faster.
And it was already filling up. I told my husband, I said, look, holiday travel is starting big time.
Like everyone else at DFW Airport, today she's got a flight to catch. Only she is not going anywhere.
Told you, there's probably a few people that come out today to see the plane land.
The crowd of kids and collectors are here for the Airbus A380, the king of the skies. Direct today from the United Kingdom.
It's the biggest passenger airplane in the world.
The British Airways double-decker behemoth returning to North Texas for the first time in more than a year.
Oh, there she is. You can see it already.
You don't have to be in the know
You see my goosebumps, guys?
to feel her excitement at the return of this massive machine.
Welcome back, British.
As people and planes keep coming and going, on track to break records this weekend.
I love the clouds in the background. Makes a nice backdrop.
She's found a way
Yes.
to make it still.
I got to touchdown. It's a must.
The perfect stop
Yes.
in a world that never does.
Can't wait to post it later.
At DFW Airport, I'm Cole Sullivan.
A pup in a very precarious position is now safe on solid ground thanks to Dallas Fire Rescue. DFR posted a video to social media showing crews having to use a ladder truck to get to the dog that had somehow climbed to the top of a pillar underneath a bridge in West Dallas. Firefighters say the dog was not showing any signs of distress, but it was in a small area with very limited access. So DFR put their skills to work, got that pup down, and Dallas Animal Services took it in. A happy ending. Those are your headlines from North Texas.
Let's take a look at today's headlines from Houston. I'm Orko Manna, starting with a fight between a 60-year-old man and a teenager leading to gunfire and a standoff in New Caney. This happened Saturday afternoon in the Nottingham Street area of the Kings Colony neighborhood. Part of the exchange caught on camera. Witnesses say the suspect, identified as Juan Ayala Montero, got into an argument with a teenager before he was seen carrying a rifle and allegedly pointing it at a group of teens. Over the next several hours, investigators say he continued pointing the weapon and at times firing it while neighbors and children ran for cover. Investigators recovered 31 shell casings from the scene.
As you can see on the video, I know there's a video going out, and we're telling him to calm down. He wouldn't calm down. He was pointing at everybody, and he just let off shots on us. And, well, yeah, he just let off shots on us, and my brother got hit on the head and on the side. He got scraped on the side.
One of the teens involved, just 17 years old, was treated and released from the hospital Saturday night. He was later taken into custody for allegedly providing false information to investigators. Meanwhile, the suspected shooter is now charged with deadly conduct, the sheriff saying Ayala Montero has a criminal history, was previously deported, and now has an ICE detainer placed on him. For the first time, we're hearing from the family of a 17-year-old girl killed in a mini bike crash while on the way to school in North Harris County. Over the weekend, loved ones gathered in Tomball to celebrate Diana Rodriguez's life and remember the light they say she brought to everyone around her. Michelle Choi has more.
Family and friends dressed in white gathered Saturday inside a Tombaugh family compound, celebrating the life of 17-year-old Donna Rodriguez. Photos, flowers, and memories honoring a teenager her family says brought joy, love, and light.
We are celebrating her life because she was the light for everyone.
Her 16-year-old brother, Elias Rodriguez, speaking publicly for the first time.
Donna was just a person you could just always be yourself around.
The two inseparable, classmates at Klein Collins High School, Donna, a junior who dreamed of becoming a doctor.
You know, I did everything around her.
That includes riding to school together the morning tragedy struck last Friday. Elias says they were each riding their motorbikes when Donna lost control and crashed along Ella Boulevard in North Harris County, suffering a head injury and later dying at the hospital.
It was a good morning, and I would have never expected that, you know, her to be away from me now forever.
Through unimaginable grief, family members leaning on faith.
Ella es una niña alegre, amorosa, sonriente, y ella es una niña que sonreía todos los días con el alma.
Her mom sharing Donna was loving, always showing love to others, always smiling.
Creo que hay un cielo eterno y lo tengo, estoy convencido.
Dad saying this isn't just about mourning, they're celebrating her life because they believe they'll see her again one day, a belief echoed by Elias.
I feel like she had a heart pure like diamond, and it would just shine everywhere I went with her.
In Tombaugh, Michelle Choi, KHOU 11 News.
Now to a family's desperate plea for help finding their missing dog. Fancy, a 5-pound Yorkie poo, escaped after a maintenance crew entered her family's apartment. The family speaking exclusively with our Anieli Ruiz about the ordeal.
It's devastated. I'm devastated. I'm brokenhearted. It's just...
With tears in her eyes, Sharon Cole says she and her husband, Todd Joyce, are heartbroken after their beloved dog Fancy vanished.
Yorkie Poo, she's 5 years old.
Gray and silver.
Gray and silver
hair.
The couple says Thursday was like any other day. They left their apartment. While they were gone, maintenance crews came to change the locks. But when they returned home...
In about 5-10 minutes, that's when Pumpkin said, I don't hear Fancy.
That's when panic set in.
When I broke the window right there.
Oh, yeah.
So I can get in, and then she wasn't even in there.
The couple says they had been locked out and Fancy was gone.
Now my baby's gone. I don't care about all that other stuff. I want my baby back.
We reached down to the apartment complex Excelsior on the Park. The new manager, who's been there for 2 months, said the couple never had a lease and have not paid rent in the past 2 months or been in the office. She also said maintenance crews did not see the dog when he slipped out, but they're actively looking for the dog and working also with the neighboring properties. But the family says,
I don't know what's going on here, but we just want our dog back.
In the end, they say all they want is to be reunited with Fancy.
That's my baby.
They say their dog takes medications for seizures and are worried she might not survive long without him.
If somebody got her, just take care of her, because I don't know how long she's gonna last without her medication.
For now, the family's putting up flyers across the area, hoping someone recognizes Fancy and helps bring her home. Anieli Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
Caught on camera, burglars smashing their way into a Heights bakery, but for the owner of the Bearded Baker, this break-in comes during an already devastating fight. He started chemotherapy just hours before. Now, while fighting cancer, he's also cleaning up the damage left behind. Katira Winfrey has the story.
This trio, in a matter of seconds, kick and force their way through the front door at the Bearded Baker. Shock is what owner Alan Herzig felt when his alarm sounded Thursday at 2:30 in the morning.
Saw 3 guys rummaging around.
Surveillance video shows the suspects moving through the bakery, prying open doors and leaving shattered glass behind. It's the 3rd time they've been hit like this, but this time is a little different.
It's heartbreaking, but of all the problems in the world, this is an easier one to deal with right now.
The Bearded Baker isn't at the Bearded Baker right now. That's because last month he was diagnosed with colon cancer, and it's already spread to his liver. He started chemo just yesterday.
I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic. I caught it early, and I'm young in comparison to most cancer patients.
The bakery spent the morning cleaning up after it was ransacked, and they're going to have to cover the cost of this broken window. But the owner says the thieves were likely looking for cash, but they only got away with a tub of peanut butter and a speaker.
My family went down there almost immediately last night to check on things, to get the window patched up. And then they went this morning to help get things cleaned up.
The cleanup slowed down baking for the day. Cookie cases set lighter than usual, but the steady stream of customers are welcome guests, a sign that his passion for sweet treats won't stop, despite a few trying to make things a bit sour.
It's such a great community, and that's what I'm actually fighting towards, is to get back to do the things I love, to make people happy.
Reporting in Houston, Katira Winfrey, KHOU 11 News.
The bearded baker says the outpouring of well wishes has been tremendous, and he's grateful. As for the suspects, the Houston Police Department is investigating. That's a wrap of your Houston headlines. I'm Orko Manna.
Overall, as we head into Memorial Day Monday and the first part of the week, scattered showers and an afternoon thunder shower will be possible across a large part of the state. We go into Monday afternoon, and right in the middle, scattered showers, I-35 corridor, Dallas to Waco to Austin to San Antonio, back into the hill country, back toward Abilene. Could be a few thunder showers pop in the heat of a Memorial Day Monday afternoon. Out in West Texas, Fort Stockton, then out to the Davis Mountains, and then west to El Paso, also a chance for a scattered shower in the afternoon. Can't rule out one or two around southeast Texas, Houston, up to Longview and the Arklatex, maybe a couple of showers there. We'll go into Monday evening, and showers linger. Waco, Austin to San Antonio, back along the I-35 corridor and into the hill country. This is the wee hours now of Tuesday morning, and I wanted to stop here because little disturbance rolling out of West Texas. This is associated with an upper trough. You could see some strong thunderstorms midnight into the early hours of Tuesday morning in West Texas, Midland to Lubbock to Amarillo. This is 7 a.m. Tuesday. Things relatively quiet across the rest of the state. We'll go into Tuesday afternoon, and again, the warmth of the afternoon will blossom a large scattering of showers and thunder showers. Perhaps the best chance out in West Texas, Fort Stockton, Midland to Lubbock, up to Amarillo, up to Wichita Falls. That's 4 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. And then a few showers do pop Houston to Tyler to Longview and back to Waco. And then a couple of showers I see between San Antonio and Laredo could fire as well on Tuesday afternoon. As for temperatures, we're getting into more summer-like temps. We'll go into Monday afternoon, Austin 93, Midland 92. You may get a rain-cooled spot. The model's picking up on rain in El Paso, 79 the high Monday afternoon. Tuesday morning, 70s, upper 60s, and fairly humid across most of the state. We'll go into Tuesday afternoon, and again, early summer-like stuff. Austin 92, Dallas upper 80s, Cotulla 92, Houston near 90, Lufkin 90, El Paso going to 87. Big picture looking a little further out. The 30th into June the 1st, wetter than normal across the state, especially the western half of Texas. Early next week could be very wet with another upper level trough coming in. And that would also mean cooler than normal temperatures, more a reflection of the rain and cloud cover than anything else. But we'll take it. All right, Texas, that's where we stand.
I'm Daranisha Heron here in Austin. New details after that chaotic shooting and crime spree across Austin earlier this month. Buda police believe a shooting there is tied to that chaos, saying someone shot up an unoccupied business on Main Street at around 5 a.m. on Sunday, May 17th. That's about 3.5 hours before police say the suspects shot Sean Fuentes while he was walking his dog on Janes Ranch Road in Northeast Austin. Police arrested the 3 teenage suspects in Manor. So this means there were a total of 13 shootings on May 16th and 17th, injuring 4 people, and at least 5 cars were stolen. Investigators have named one of those suspects, 17-year-old Kristen Mondragon. The other 2 are 15 and 16, so their names aren't being released. The Texas Supreme Court is now weighing in on a legal fight over Project Connect. Voters approved that transit overhaul nearly 6 years ago. While this ruling has more to do with procedural issues in this lawsuit, KVUE's Daniel Perot shows us how this could create more bumps in the road for this long-awaited project.
New legal and political challenges threatening to derail Austin's effort to revamp public transit and cut down on traffic in this booming city.
This project has been off the rails, so to speak, since the very beginning.
Since it was approved in 2020, the scale of Project Connect has shrunk and costs have gone up. Attorney Bill Elshire represents a group that sued over the plans.
We're in a mess with Project Connect in Austin now because they are proceeding on with a risk that they won't get federal funding, that they won't be able to issue bonds.
As of now, the plan is for the light rail system to have 15 stations along a nearly 10-mile stretch, with trains coming every 5 to 10 minutes. But the reality is, so far, not a single foot of light rail track has been laid down. As the scale of the project has shrunk and the costs have grown, for some Austinites, doubt has crept in.
Project Connect is an illegal, inefficient, unaffordable, catastrophic mistake.
The Texas Supreme Court ruled Friday that a district court judge wrongly ignored a motion filed by the state at the urging of City and Austin Transit Partnership lawyers, challenging whether that judge had jurisdiction to hear the case.
You can't pocket veto it like what occurred in this case. And so today the Supreme Court ordered Judge Shepard to sign an order, one way or the other, on the Attorney General's motion.
Leaders with Austin's Transit Partnership have argued the light rail system is necessary to give Austinites more options to get around as the area grows.
Transit is better for affordability. It's better for reducing greenhouse gases. It's better for making a safer community for all of us.
With the legal fight over the project funding headed back to court, ATP says it hopes to break ground on the light rail system next year. It won't be ready for riders until at least 2033.
We can't sit back and just have them go spend tens of millions or billions of dollars before a court determines whether it's even legal.
In Austin, Daniel Perot, KVUE News.
Thanks, Daniel. East Austin community leaders and veterans came together ahead of Memorial Day to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice. There was a presentation of colors and wreath laying at the Victor R. Garza Community Center on Saturday. Students from Aiken's Early College High School's JROTC program were a part of the ceremony. Organizers honor veterans, including Purple Heart recipient Paul Serrano Chapa and Victor Garza.
So we do this every year to acknowledge and you know, the memory of their lives, growing up in East Austin, graduating from Johnston High School, and their journey into the military, some of them not coming home.
Volunteers and veterans also came together in Southwest Austin to give back to the community. The Veterans of Foreign Wars Annual Day of Service included a cleanup of the Pena Community Garden. The effort is part of a worldwide initiative encouraging veterans to continue serving their communities after their time in the military. Organizers say the project is about more than just beautifying the space. It's also about building connections.
Being, in the military is a very tight-knit community, and when you get out, it's important, I think, to replace that community with something else. It's really good for veterans to come together and, build that community with not just with veterans, but with our families and also with the greater surrounding community.
Organizers say they hope events like this help showcase that VFW is focused on wellness, community engagement, and service. Downtown Austin is celebrating the 25th anniversary of the movie Spy Kids, directed by Austin's very own filmmaker, Robert Rodriguez. KVUE's Jose Alonso tells us how the film still brings families together and has deep ties to the city.
Thank you. Popcorn and drinks are a must at downtown Austin's historic Paramount Theater. There's a line outside the door for the 25th anniversary of Spy Kids.
I mean, it's pretty cool. I've been to the Paramount Theater at least 2 or 3 times before, and I think it's gonna be cool seeing it on the big screen.
A blockbuster film with deep roots in Austin and generational fandom.
You guys excited to see the film?
Incredibly excited. A long-time favorite.
The movie premiered at the Paramount Theater in 2001. Senior Director of Film Programming, Stephen Janice.
It was also kind of a landmark movie for Austin filmmaking because it really showed that we had the crew here and we had the technological capability here to make this big kind of blockbuster movie, a family film.
Good spy puts himself in the mindset of the opponent. Ew, gross. What do you see? You.
The film stars Alexa Penavega and Daryl Sabara, young actors who attended the movie premiere in Austin and took part of the festival outside the theater on Congress Avenue. KVUE interviewed them in 2001.
It was so cool. We had so much fun with all the stunts and the gadgets. It was so much fun. And all the actors. And especially working with Robert. I mean, he's like the biggest kid in the world.
Director of Spy Kids, Robert Rodriguez, has a star in front of the theater. He didn't have time to speak with us, but KVUE also interviewed him 25 years ago.
You really want to be there with your kids when they see it, because if you just drop them off in the theater like you have to do with some of the other family fare, you'll miss out, because it's really about the mission of keeping a family together.
Rescue their parents and save the world.
And the movie is still bringing families together in 2026.
We're always looking for fun things to do, and be able to come to an event that has Robert Rodriguez. We know that he's an Austin-grown creative, and so we're excited to support that.
So I was able to snag 4 tickets. So it was pretty awesome. I was able to grab, there was only 55 available, but I was able to grab 4.
The Paramount Theater is already working on celebrating the 25th anniversary of Spy Kids 2 next year. Reporting in studio, Jose Alonso, KVUE News.
It's such a great movie, Jose. Thank you. Officials with the Paramount Theater say the venue will undergo renovation starting on June 16th. Check out these renderings from the theater's website of what the venue will look like in the near future. There's also plans to reimagine the neighboring State Theater. The project will cost a total of $66 million. The Paramount will close for about 8 to 9 months, while the State Theater will close for 13 to 16 months starting next summer. That's all from us here in Austin. I'm Darrenisha Heron.
Hey, your headlines from Southeast Texas. I'm Ebony Coleman. 12 News spoke to the mother of Pearlstein Park shooting victim Brandon Briggs. She speaks up about what her child meant to her and how she's trying to get through this tragedy in her family. Like any parent, Briggs' mother is feeling a mix of emotions after losing her son. She says all she is asking for is justice. The news reporter Daniela Taboada Plow has that story.
I want justice for my son.
2 weeks ago, a group of teens headed to Pearlstein Park for a planned fight, according to Beaumont Police Department. That fight later escalated to a shooting, taking the life of 18-year-old Brandon Briggs.
My son was very smart. He had a career ahead of him. He had a life ahead of him.
Briggs' mother, Taisha McKenzie, says she's devastated after losing the person that made her a mother.
My son, he was my firstborn. He taught me a lot. He made me become the person that I am today. He's the reason why I never give up on life.
McKenzie says her favorite memories of her son were when he would get haircuts. Seeing Briggs flaunt his looks and take care of himself always brought her joy. She also said he had plans of attending Prairie View A&M and becoming an engineer. Dreams and plans now cut short.
He will never get to have a family, his own family. He will never experience adulthood.
She recognizes as a mother that her son shouldn't have been at the park when he was, but like any other child, she says he deserved to live.
He was my strong one. He was the one who, see mom, you know, I might not be in a good mood. He picks me up. His smile, he was kind of shy, but he had that smile on him that just brightened up my day.
Since the incident, she says her family has been living in fear.
You know, it's hard on my kids. My youngest, he's nervous. He's making sure the doors are locked. He's pacing back and forth, me and my kids sleeping in the bed together.
McKenzie also told 12 News she is outraged after hearing the grand jury decided to no bill the 2 teens accused of murder and is urging the city to take action to improve park safety.
My son is gone, he's dead, and these kids are freely walking. They're not even indicted. I feel like this community, this park, this area should be treated just as like the West End. These kids should be safe.
The assistant police chief for Silsbee ISD has been arrested and terminated from his job. Jonathan Tyner is accused of having inappropriate communications with a student. He's no longer permitted on district property or at school events. The Texas Rangers are leading the investigation into what happened. Silsbee ISD officials say they will continue to cooperate fully with police. The district put out this statement saying, quote, "The safety and well-being of our students remain our highest priority. Any behavior that compromises the trust placed in those who serve our students will be addressed swiftly and seriously." And a former Jasper ISD teacher has been formally indicted for an injury to a child. It started with a school investigation into allegations she showed students an inappropriate movie, which uncovered claims that she slapped a child. Micaiah Platt was fired from Purnell Elementary. Criminal charges were filed. The school contacted the student's parents, who said their child had not previously reported being slapped. She was later interviewed at the Garth House, which led to her offering more information about what happened. Injury to a child is a third-degree felony. Platt faces 2 to 10 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. And a Buena man has been indicted in Jasper County for first-degree felony possession of child pornography. This started back in September after a cyber tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children led to an investigation. Police arrested him after finding child porn material during a search warrant at Sanders' home. Also in Jasper County, Timmy Castillo is now charged with intoxication manslaughter and intoxication assault with a vehicle. The Buena man is accused of crossing into oncoming traffic, sideswiping a Honda, and hitting a Chevy truck. 35-year-old Megan Martin and her 13-year-old daughter, Serenity Rivera, died. According to DPS, it happened back in March on Highway 62 near County Road 825. Martin's son also suffered a broken leg and had to have surgery. Family members say he's now staying with Martin's aunt and her fiance. And those were your headlines from Southeast Texas.
I'm Bill Churchwell in Corpus Christi, and here's a look at some of what's happening in South Texas. A disturbing act of violence is now under investigation in San Patricio County. The founder of Sinton Animal Friends says she was assaulted by a woman her nonprofit had been helping for months. After a long day traveling to Houston, she says she returned home to Sinton and was confronted right outside of her front door. Ryan Hopper has the details.
We've been feeding the puppies all this time. We've been dropping off food almost weekly to that home. We fixed all of them, medicated, vaccinated. We had them ready to go to a rescue.
Sinton police now searching for the suspect, who Howington says first contacted her back in February for help caring for a litter of 7 puppies.
We had arranged for them, the puppies, to be dropped off here on Wednesday morning, and one was missing. So we reached out to the home and said that's not okay. You know, once a rescue takes over, then those puppies belong to the rescue.
Which she says sent the suspect into a rage, despite her knowing the terms of their agreement.
She pushed it in and was coming in, and then she just started hitting me in the face, and I was just shoving her back. And we ended up kind of in the middle of the sidewalk, and then her mother jumped out of the car and ran over and grabbed her and put her back in the car.
Police say the suspect remains at large tonight, even after Howington says she appeared to taunt her in a Facebook post that has since been deleted. While Howington says that she's trying to move forward, her friend Crystal Benavides is still trying to understand how an attempt to help someone ended this way.
She let the whole world know who exactly it was. What angers me most is you came to us for help, and then you want to assault us in front of our own building or in our own building. Why? Why would somebody actually want to do that?
The attack leaving Howington with a facial fracture and other minor injuries, but its lasting impact may be no longer feeling safe in the place she calls home.
My world revolves around this building. My home, my passion, and my career are all in the same building, and that is very frustrating to me that then I can't feel safe walking dogs late in the evening, or I'm having to install new lighting and alarms and things like that, and I feel like my privacy has been invaded.
Ryan Hopper, 3 News.
The Free Store, a local nonprofit group, is launching a project to help the community's most vulnerable residents. The group hopes to offer free showers, providing hygiene, dignity, and support. Lydia Herrera shows us.
It's something many people take for granted. Being able to take a clean shower whenever they need one.
Now getting up in the morning and just taking a good cold shower or warm shower, even if you don't have any place to go, is very, very rewarding.
For 15 years, James Newton lived on the streets. Now he advocates for the homeless and says there's a lack of shower access that's 24/7.
Some of the homeless community, they work, and some of them get off at night, and when they get off, Mother Teresa's is not closed. It's closed, and Dismas may be closed, and there they are stuck again. Maybe they have to go to work tomorrow with the same clothes on and not taking a shower.
But Marlena Garza with the Free Store is changing that.
So a fully inclusive shower would mean that someone like myself, who is fully able-bodied, independent, and can fully bathe themselves, could get a shower all the way up to someone who can't, somebody who is partially or maybe even fully paralyzed.
A community shower that will be open to anyone, regardless of their situation and disability. But Garza says it won't be cheap.
Just in our space alone, I'm estimating anywhere from $700,000 to $900,000 to get it all fully done.
Strategic overview. Amanda Port with the Corpus Christi Community Center says this partnership will make a lasting impact in the city.
In general, the whole building needs repair. But to me, it's a worthy investment that I think will have measurable returns when we start seeing our unhoused people being able to get out in the community and, function better.
How long do the hot water last?
Garza says if funding comes through, the community shower could be open within the next 2 years and says she'll keep pushing until it becomes a reality.
It gives them a space that you are not forgotten, you are seen, and we are here trying to save you.
Lydia Herrera, 3 News.
And that's a quick look at some of what's happening in South Texas.
I'm Simone Simpson, and this is the news in San Antonio. Deputies need your help finding a missing teenager. 16-year-old Nolan Mason disappeared Friday when he left his home at 6:30 p.m. He was last seen on the 10,000 block of Four Wind Pass on the far west side. He was reported wearing a black zip-up jacket, black jeans, and camo sandals. His cell phone is turned off. If you have any information, call the Bexar County Sheriff's Office at 210-335-6000. A convicted killer with a long criminal history will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Bobby Mercado was sentenced Friday to life in prison for the murder of Robert Wellington. He also received a second life sentence for being a felon in possession of a firearm. San Antonio police found Wellington shot to death back in February of 2024 on West Ridgewood Court. Detectives say Mercado and another suspect, Christian Villalobos, left the scene in a dark blue BMW. Mercado was later arrested at a nearby bus stop where authorities say he was found with drugs. Investigators say DNA, gunshot residue, ballistics, and digital evidence all helped connect Mercado to the murder. Justice for a San Antonio tattoo artist killed in a brazen 2021 shooting. The convicted killer learning his fate on Friday. Prosecutors say Raymond Hernandez shot and killed Leonel Chavez back in April of 2021 at a home off Bates Boulevard. Authorities say Chavez was at a friend's house when Hernandez approached and opened fire before taking off on foot. But investigators say surveillance cameras captured Hernandez carrying the murder weapon less than a mile from the scene. Prosecutors say the only eyewitness to the shooting heard the gunshot, saw Chavez collapse, and then confronted Hernandez before calling police. After a jury found Hernandez guilty of murder, a judge sentenced him to 45 years behind bars. A grim discovery at a Northeast Side apartment complex Friday. A woman is found dead and a murder investigation is now underway. KENS 5's Zach Briggs spoke to neighbors still shaken from the tragic news.
So there were 2 scenes, one at the apartment complex and another just a few miles away. That's where authorities found the suspect in this murder case and brought him in for questioning.
It's sad, man. I mean, the world
It's really crazy now. When I was raised, it was all about the knuckles. Now it's get it how you get it.
Bert Powell was feeding his dogs when he saw San Antonio police and the Bexar County Sheriff's Office in front of his neighbor's home. This is along the 7200 block of Montgomery Drive.
Everybody wants to know what happened.
Police detained a man they're calling a suspect in the murder of a 24-year-old woman. Her body was found inside one of these apartment units just minutes away off Eisenhower Road, east of 410. According to investigators, the victim had been cut that led to her death.
I just hate it, man, but everyone needs to get back into church because we're at the end of times.
It just makes me make me feel unsafe.
Tracy wants to move her family out of here.
You never really know what's going on down the street.
Especially after learning of Friday's grim discovery. The investigation filled with more questions than answers, including how the suspect and victim are related and when the murder took place.
My heart goes out to her family.
And no word yet whether the man who was taken into custody has been charged, and we're still waiting on the victim's identity. I'm Zach Briggs, KENS 5.
With the runoff election just days away, Mayor Gina Ortiz Jones is urging DHS to keep immigration enforcement away from polling sites. The mayor says she's penned a letter to the Department of Homeland Security Friday, writing that she wants to ensure federal operations do not inadvertently deter or dissuade lawful U.S. voters from casting their ballots due to fear. This comes after reports of federal immigration enforcement activity earlier this week at a San Antonio library that was also serving as an early voting site. In the letter, Jones said she hopes to continue an open dialogue with federal officials as they work to balance public safety and public transparency. No word if DHS has responded. Election Day is Tuesday. There are some big races on the ballot, including the Republican primary runoff for the Texas U.S. Senate seat and the Democratic race for Bexar County District Attorney. We have a voter guide online now at KENS5.com. You'll also find a polling map and even a sample ballot. Again, Election Day is Tuesday. Here in Military City, USA, the community is getting together to honor fallen heroes this Memorial Day. The public is invited to join a ceremony at the American Legion John F. Kennedy Post 485. That's on Candalia Avenue on the south side. Mayor Gina Ortiz Jones, Bexar County Judge Peter Sakai, and local veterans will pay tribute at the event starting at 4:30 p.m. Monday. A Harlandale High School JROTC color guard will present the flags, followed by the national anthem and a performance of taps. And the Fort Sam Houston Cemetery is preparing for its annual Memorial Day tribute. It starts Monday morning at 9 with a musical interlude. The ceremony begins at 9:30 a.m. It's open to the public as well. For those attending, the cemetery asks that you enter through Harry Wurzbach Road. Traffic will be one way through the cemetery. Meanwhile, city services will see a few changes for the holiday, including City Hall and most municipal offices being closed. Trash and recycling pickup will continue as normal. Parks and trails will remain open, and downtown drivers can take advantage of free on-street parking. If you serve or have served in the military, you can enjoy a free day at Six Flags Fiesta Texas or Schlitterbahn New Braunfels this Memorial Day weekend. Active duty military, veterans, retirees, reservists, and National Guard members can get a free admission through Monday. Just show a valid military ID at the front gate. The parks also offer discounted tickets for friends and family when purchased online. And that's the news in San Antonio.
I'm Adriana Alexander. Here are your headlines from Central Texas. Developing news out of Belton. There's one person dead and another injured after a shooting at the Belton Lake Outdoor Recreation Area Saturday night. Fort Hood officials say 2 military police officers responded to reports of a fight around 9 p.m. when multiple shots were fired. One civilian died after being taken to the hospital. Another civilian remains in stable condition. A service member was treated for minor injuries at the scene and released. Officials say the scene was quickly secured and there is no active threat to the public. The Army Criminal Investigation Division is now leading the investigation. 6 News is learning what happened the night of 18-year-old Emory Henry's death as he was shot and killed in Temple, and why the suspected killers haven't been charged with a crime until recently. 6 News reporter Juliana Jackson spent the day combing through new documents and speaking with the victim's family. Here's what she learned.
New federal court documents are shedding light on the deadly shooting of 18-year-old Ember Henry. The criminal complaint obtained by 6 News states Temple police responded to a shots-fired call the night of May 5th. Investigators say officers ran into 2 men running just houses away from the scene, later identified as 20-year-old Colton Carter and 18-year-old Donovan Bynum. Documents say both suspects appeared nervous but told officers they were running after hearing gunshots and then were released from Temple PD. The next morning, Ember Henry was found dead on the front porch of the home with multiple gunshot wounds. The father of Ember, Bert Henry, telling 6 News his wife, Ember's mother, was the one who found their son's body. Now the investigation has expanded into a federal case involving the FBI. After investigators say they found messages on one of the suspects' phones discussing a plan to rob Ember of THC vape products. Criminal complaint states detectives found messages on Carter's phone, including one that read, "We are hitting a plug today," followed by messages saying, "He's a white boy. I think it'll be easy." Investigators also say Bynum later told detectives he acted as a lookout while Carter attacked Henry before gunshots were fired. Henry's father saying the support from the community has helped his family through the tragedy.
Spoke volumes to the kind of impact that Ember had on people in a very short amount of time.
As the investigation continues, he's asking anyone with information to come forward.
Anything that they get, I have encouraged them to please reach out to me, reach out to the investigator.
Both men are now charged with conspiracy to interfere with commerce by robbery, and they could face up to 20 years in prison if convicted. The Temple Mall is now facing a 30-day deadline to fix major fire safety issues or risk shutting down its doors again. City officials say the latest inspection found several dangerous problems such as failing fire suppression systems, broken fire alarms, and even locked exterior doors. Issues the fire marshal says must be fixed within 30 days or the mall could face closure. Robert Brandenburg owns 3 businesses inside the Temple Mall and says while him and other tenants are frustrated, he still remains hopeful for the future.
Of course, it's a whirlwind of questions and freaking out a little bit on the tenant side. Of course, we want to see as much done as can be possibly done to fix what needs to be fixed in 30 days. That's a daunting task, and I do think that some of these things should have already been fixed. The ownership is the issue most of the time. We're told things don't happen. We have to do what we have to do to continue, and that's what we're going to do in this situation as well.
Right now, the city says temporary safety measures and a corrective action plan are keeping the mall open for the time being. 6 News did reach out to the mall's ownership group for comment, but has not received a response back. And those are your headlines from Central Texas.
Hi, I'm Nayeli Carrillo, and here's what's making headlines across East Texas. A family wants to remind all of us that Memorial Day isn't about cookouts or sales, but rather honoring those we've lost who have served. As CBS 19's Jesus Martinez shares, they walked for veteran suicide awareness and their son.
You need one?
Yeah, of course I do.
All right.
With Mission 22 flags in hand, Barbie Rohde shares the same mission hundreds around the country honored on this 22nd day of May.
For the 22, honor the 22.
Mission 22 is a nonprofit focused on supporting U.S. military veterans and their families, especially with suicide prevention.
It's happening with active duty and retired military.
Friday, they walked 2.2 miles.
This means everything to us, and we appreciate everybody coming out.
We're doing this walk today because not only do we need to raise money for the funds for our programs, but we need to raise awareness.
According to the Department of Veteran Affairs, veterans die by suicide at a rate more than 1.5 times higher than non-veteran U.S. adults. It is a number Barbie knows too well.
Until we lost our child, we had no idea about this problem, no clue.
Sergeant Cody Bowman lost his left hand in a blast in Germany.
I was with him for a while. He kept saying, he's fine, you know. Until 2.5 years later, he wasn't.
Barbie was headed home that day when she was met with 2 soldiers in dress blues.
That's never good. And all I remember hearing was Sergeant Cody Bowman's self-inflicted gunshot wound. I dropped to my knees.
Barbie and her husband joined Mission 22 shortly after her son passed away in 2019, turning their grief into purpose by sharing Cody's story in hopes of helping other veterans and their families before it is too late.
I just don't want that pain to be on anybody else if I can help stop it.
This walk
So thank y'all for coming.
is just one way they're helping in the mission.
Tyler needs to know that we need to support our veterans.
As she carries her son on her shoulders.
I hope everybody knows that just walking a few steps, even if you don't do the whole 2.2 miles, it touches us. It means the absolute world.
And as we look ahead to Memorial Day, Barbie wants to remind us all that the freedoms we have come because of veterans like her son.
They sign their name on that dotted line to give their life for our freedoms.
And with every step taken, Cody's memory and the memories of so many veterans live on. In Tyler, I'm Jesus Martinez.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide, you can text or call the number 988. Someone with the Suicide Prevention Hotline will respond. The Lake Palestine Resort is still rebuilding from an EF1 tornado that tore through the area exactly 2 years ago. We take a look at how the community is moving forward. For many East Texans, Memorial Day weekend means time on the water, fishing, boating, and making summer memories at Lake Palestine.
And we went out and we caught a bunch of fish.
But 2 years ago, this same holiday weekend looked very different.
It was a nice, beautiful day like today, and all of a sudden there was a thunderstorm and no warning at all, and most of the RV park behind us was completely demolished.
An EF1 tornado with peak winds of 105 miles per hour moved through the area. Fishing guide Jim Beggerly has been on this lake for 25 years. He says he watched the storm rip through the resort.
But when it hit those lightweight aluminum roof boathouses, it blew them all away. It turned them to garbage instantly. All three of those boathouse roofs were in the water and gone by the time before I even got across the bridge.
Now, just ahead of Memorial Day weekend, boats are back on the water, but signs of the storm still remain.
I can look around and look over there and see the missing row of 7 cabins over there.
The scars of the tornado are still very much here, and they probably will always be with us.
Despite that, General Manager Micah Wolf says they're preparing for a busy holiday weekend filled with live music, fireworks, and families on the water.
Never take anything for granted. It's amazing when you go through a disaster like that, how the local community will really come out and can give you some support and help.
The resort says its final major rebuilding project will be a 3rd boathouse, adding about 50 new boat stalls. Staff say they're looking forward to a safe summer season as families return to the lake. Reporting from Lake Palestine, Nayeli Carrillo, CBS 19. That's a wrap of your East Texas headlines. I'm Nayeli Carrillo.